if you're a consultant or if you're a job seeker going for your next full-time job, you gotta interview. You need to talk to your prospective new boss and get past that dreaded interview. Sometimes it's a phone screen, sometimes it's in person, but that's what I want to talk to you about today. And specifically, I want to talk about how much baggage can you bring to that interview. In other words, can you share everything that happened in your last employer? The short answer is no. Allow me to illustrate. So I got a note from Buvina recently, and she said, "Hey, Catherine, I hope you're doing well. My last boss was an absolute jerk. Can I say that in a job interview?" No. That's the short answer. You cannot say that your last boss was a royal bozo in the middle of a job interview. However, somewhere in the middle is probably the answer. So let me first talk to you about why you can't throw your last boss under the bus, even if he was the biggest jerk in the world. Number one reason. Interviewing is like a first date, and it's a first impression situation. And the person that's interviewing you, whether it's a recruiter or a hiring manager, is trying to figure out if you're going to be a good fit for their team and whether or not they want to work with you. And it's a very imperfect measure of the real you, but it's the best they've got. That in-person interview with you, and even a phone interview, is the best opportunity that they have to see who you really are and how you will perform on the job. Because of that, you have to be careful what you say. That's all they know about you, is what they're hearing from you and seeing from you. And so if you go in there and bash your last boss and says he was an absolute jerk, a piece of them is going to say, "Oh, that's horrible. Wow, he must have been a real jerk." But unfortunately, the manager and future coworker in them is going to raise a red flag and say, "Uh-oh, danger zone. Was the guy really a jerk? Or is she a rotten employee who's just blaming everything on her boss?" See, what happens is when you throw your former boss under the bus, the flags go up, and what could have been a 10-second conversation, "Why'd you leave your last job? Why are you looking to leave your employer?" Or "Why'd you quit that job 3 years ago?" However they ask the question, they're trying to figure out, did you leave because the management style was the same that they are going to impose upon you? If the boss wasn't a good boss, is there anybody inside their company that's going to be acting like that? Were you a bad actor? Is there any reason why you blew up and you ran away? They're trying to make sure there are no surprises. They're trying to avoid a bad hire. And unfortunately, even if you had the worst boss in the world, bringing that out in all its glory during your interview is going to make you look bad and turn you into a risky hire in their eyes. So there is a better way. So don't do it. Don't throw your boss under the bus or former coworkers. Don't badmouth anybody. Nobody wants that negativity in an interview. The other reason you have to be very careful about how you talk about bad situations is the past. Is number one, they're going to get suspicious about, was the boss really bad or was it you? The other reason is that nobody wants to work with a negative Nelly. Nobody. And recently I introduced a job seeker to a friend of mine. And I teed it all up beautifully. And I said, "Chris, I think she's going to be a terrific fit for you. I really think you should interview. She's got everything that you're looking for." I teed it up to be a win for both parties. And I fully expected my phone to ring twice that afternoon. I thought that both of them would call me and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is great. We're going to hire her. And I'm so excited." That is not what happened. I heard nothing from the friend that I introduced to Chris, but my phone rang that afternoon from Chris, and she said, "Seriously?" And I said, "What do you mean seriously?" And she said, "You really thought she'd be a great person for my team? Are you nuts?" I was mortified. Absolutely shell-shocked, mortified. Couldn't even believe what I was hearing. And I said, "What happened?" And Chris said, "Well, the first 3 minutes were just fine." And then she proceeded to spend the next 15 minutes telling me about her rotten former boss, how hard the traffic was coming in to meet with me, and then everything that she wants out of her next role. Picky, negative. I don't want anybody like that on my team. I just fired somebody who was such a toxic member of our team, she brought negativity into the workplace every day. I'm not doing it again. So thanks, but no thanks. Oh my gosh. I was shocked, mortified, all of the above. So I called my friend over here and said, what happened? And she said, things were going great and I was so comfortable, and you're right, she's wonderful. But then halfway through the interview, things started getting really weird. I don't know where things went wrong, but I don't think she likes me. And I said, well, you're right. This is what she said to me. And my friend over here said, oh my gosh, I was so comfortable. I thought I could share everything with her. I was just being honest. When you're interviewing, there's a difference between honest and sharing too much information, TMI. And again, it's a lot like a first date. So my tip for you today, if you had a rotten boss or a rotten coworker or a really icky situation that you're coming out of, first of all, I'm sorry that you went through that. I've been there and it's horrible. Second of all, you got to figure out how to talk about that before you go into your next interview, or it just might be the thing that loses you the job, even though you don't deserve that. All right, I hope that helps. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Catherine Byers-Breed signing off.